Look, now look forward.
Let's talk
January
about taxes.
the 1st, taxes go up. You're an economist, and we respect your scholarship. Make the economic argument, please, that raising taxes on January the 1st, and it's a huge tax increase, make the case that directly creates jobs. Please, make the argument.
All right. The first thing I've got to tell you is the president is not talking about raising taxes on the vast majority of Americans. He has committed to continuing the tax cuts from 2001 and 2003 for all of the people earning less than $250,000 a year.
Okay.
That's the vast majority of Americans, and he is committed to that.
That requires a vote.
He has said that he is going.
That requires a vote.
And he is committed to working with Congress to make sure that happens.
But there's been 3 Senate Democrats and numerous blue dogs in the House who say they don't want it. Okay, let's suppose that the president gets what he wants and you only raise taxes on the rich. Will you now make the case that raising taxes on the rich, significant tax increases on the rich, make the case, please, that that directly creates jobs?
What I will certainly tell you is that experts across the spectrum, from the Congressional Budget Office to Goldman Sachs, will tell you that tax cuts for the very high-income earners does very little to create jobs, and we have much better proposals like that small business lending fund that would be much better.
This is a tax increase. We're not discussing a tax cut. We're discussing a tax increase of major proportions on the rich. Let me back up for a second, Ms. Roma. On this program, frequently, in the last few days, we've talked directly to small business operators. Universally, they have told us that they will not hire because of the tax increase that's coming on them on January the 1st. So tell me again, how is it that a tax increase on the rich directly creates jobs?
All right, let me be very clear. 98% of small business owners earn less than $250,000 a year. They will not be touched by any of this. And I think that is an incredible thing. The other thing, we have on the floor of the United States Senate a bill the president strongly supports that wants more tax cuts for small businesses.
But you haven't.
Zero capital gains.
You've not told me. You're an economist. As I said, we respect your scholarship. But you have not told me how taxing the rich creates jobs. How does it do it?
It is a question of balance. What we are talking about is letting the tax cuts for the highest income earners go off. That's a small change. And the important thing is other measures like the Small Business Lending Fund, like money to state and local governments to keep teachers employed, like more tax credits for businesses to do clean energy manufacturing. Those are much more effective at creating jobs, which is what we all want to do.
You've not made the economic argument. Essentially, you're making a political argument that taxing the rich is something we ought to do, that it is punitive. Let me ask you a moral question for a second.
Absolutely not. It is a cost-benefit calculation. You get very little bang for a lot of bucks from a high-income tax earner tax cut.
But we're talking about a tax increase.
We can do much better by giving middle-class families their tax cuts and by doing some other actions.
Okay, let me ask you a moral question. Do you think it's moral for successful people who make decent money to give half, actually be forced to pay more than half of their income to the government? Because that's what's happening.
Yeah.
Now, you can say that it's not happening. It is happening. In California, New Jersey, New York, and other high state tax places, when you raise taxes on the rich, they will have to fork over more than half. I'm asking a moral question, not an economic question, a moral question. Is that moral in America?
I think that is not a moral issue. It is a public policy issue of figuring out how we pay for the things that need to get done in this country. And the president, and again, analysts across the spectrum say that if what you're worried about is jobs and productivity, there's a lot more effective ways to spend that money that would go to the high-income tax cut. It's going to be better for the economy, better for jobs, and better for the health of this country.
Okay. Let me show you just a brief clip from the president's appearance in the Rose Garden 11 days ago, where he was pushing for an increase and an extension of unemployment benefits. I don't think you can see it, but I'm going to describe it for you. There are 3 people, unemployed people, stood right next to the president in the Rose Garden. One of them was a lady who he described as worthy, unemployed, needed an extension of benefits. That lady turned out to have been a convicted felon. She's on the right of the screen for our viewers. I know you can't see it, Ms. Roma, but that lady is on the right of the screen, Leslie Mako. Turns out that she lost her job in a spa after being convicted of prescription drug fraud. just a few weeks after she finished her probation, she's appearing with the president in the Rose Garden. Now, whose head is going to roll for this? Because that looks like gross incompetence. Who are you going to fire?
I have no clue about any of the specifics. What I do know is that 3 million very worthy Americans who had been unemployed got thrown off the unemployment rolls.
Couldn't you pick one of them?
Because we hadn't.
I mean, couldn't you pick one? I mean, you got
benefits.
2. Couldn't you gotten 3? No, I don't mean to be facetious. I really don't want to be facetious. But look, you are proposing to spend an enormous amount of government money. We're assuming that you're going to spend it efficiently. And then along comes this kind of gross incompetence, and it really throws our confidence over the fence. You take my point, I'm sure.
You need to judge on the much broader actions that we've taken. You know, Peter Orszag gave an important speech a few days ago, his last in the administration, talking about all of the actions that the Office of Management and Budget has taken to make the government work better. That has been a top priority of the government. The way that we have managed the money in the Recovery Act, I think, is absolutely exemplary, thanks to the hard work of the Vice President and his team. And, you know, I'm going to focus on the 3 million Americans that today are going to have unemployment insurance benefits again because we got that bill passed.
Okay. Ms. Roma, it is always a pleasure. I know this is a very busy day for you, and you've given us a lot of your time, and we appreciate it. Thank you very much, ma'am.
It's always good to see you.